All right, welcome back to part 4 of building a custom data table for the opportunity contact roles. In our last session, we created some event handling. Of course, we added the update functionality. We added some base utilities to handle some errors. We added a spinner and some error handling. And yeah, we got the update working pretty much. So we could cross that off our list. So the next two are add and delete, and we probably need to do some cleanup after that to make it production ready, but then we'll be done. So let's get right to it. So for adding contact roles, what do we want to do? Or we want to implement the handle add method that we already have. So we'll put it right here. Add. And so what do we want to do? We want to just add some rows um, to the table. So we will have to do some refactoring here. I mean, this currently is being assigned to data, which is immutable. So I don't think we can even add entries to this right now. We're going to have to do some manipulation there. And this change, I'm not sure if this change is going to even work anymore. But let's all work through that together. So I think the first thing we need to do is when we handle the add, or we want to add an entry to this array, right? The one that's being referenced here in this for each. But we can't do it with this one because it's just assigned this data variable, which is immutable, because that's what wires do. So I think the first thing we need to do here is we need to change this contact roles to sort of be a copy of this data variable. So let's just go ahead and map this. And we probably want to add some stuff in here as well. So data.map contact role. Return this, and maybe we add like a DB action to this. And we just set it to null for now because we are just returning it and there is no action for us when we first bring this in. And I think maybe this may be better. Yes. And that way we sort of separate things out. And the naming of this is currently contact roles, but it's not just contact roles anymore. It contains the contact role record and then some other attributes, specifically this database action. We may want to add additional stuff in here later. Definitely don't want to call it a wrapper since it's technically not a wrapper. I guess I could just call it contact role DTO, DTOs. For those that don't know, that's the proper term. So data transfer object and wrapper class, they're two different things. DTOs use to package and transfer data between different layers of the app. So for wrapper class, it's just wrapping like a primitive into an object that you can then use within your code. But anyway, for those that are familiar with the term wrapper, we could use that. But I'm just gonna go with DTOs since number one is less characters, and that is the more accurate term, I think. Hopefully, somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. All right, so we'll call this DTOs. So well, let's do this first, and then we will do contact role DTOs. So let's change everywhere. By the way, I typed F2 for this, and this will refactor or rename this variable everywhere within your code. Okay, so that's good. So let's find all the references to contact role DTOs. It's only here, really. So this one will be contact role DTOs. And okay, contact role DTO, contact role DTO dot record dot ID contact role dot record DTO, like that. When I handle any type of contact role change, I guess I don't really need this change anymore. I think I could just use this since this will have the database action. So I guess I could do contact role DTOs, not for each, but map contact role DTO. And if that's that, then DB action is equal to an update. If it's not that, then I could just return that contact role DTO. Contact role DTO. Otherwise, I want to return a new map which contains the DTO. How do I do this? I guess I have to do it like this way. Record and then event.detail, and then DB action will be an update like this. I think this looks right. So what am I doing here? This is the map iteration method. Let's put map iteration method. So we create the function, and then basically it's going to output a new array where each element has this function applied to it. Right? So what I'm doing here is just taking each contact role DTO, and if I'm finding that the record ID doesn't match the record ID that changed, then I just return that element. Otherwise, I'm going to modify that particular entry. And so I'm going to take the existing contact role DTO record and add in the event.detail stuff. And I'm also going to set this action to update. But this isn't exactly right, because if this DB action was create, then I want to keep it a create. So only if this was null. So what do I do here? So contact role DTO dot DB action equals null. Well, if it equals create, then we'll keep it create. Otherwise, it's an update. I think that makes sense. Yes, triple equal sign. Okay, so if the DB action is create, then keep it create. Otherwise, make it an update. So this will take care of if DB action is update, then it'll remain update. If it's null, then it'll get set to update. All right, so then I don't think we need this anymore. So I don't think we need to do this. We shouldn't need change anymore. This dot, what do I have here? Contact role DTOs, but I need to get the records. So I guess I'll just do a map. Const contact roles to save equals dot filter, no. This dot contact role DTOs dot map contact role DTO, and we just basically want to return contact role DTO dot record. Do I even need this? And then we just call this here. Or reference it here. That map. Okay, I hope that works. Will this do a return? Let's console.log. Contact roles to save. Okay. So is there any other references changed? Nope. And let's actually console.log this out. And let's see if this works. Okay. Well, that's not right, because what I wanted to happen was I wanted this primary to get set to true, I guess, in this one, but that didn't happen. Oh, because I gotta assign it back to itself. Okay, so the reason I'm assigning it back to itself is to make it reactive. I really don't like using @track. I think it only goes one level deep. So then if you did have an object within each of the items at the top level of the array, and you change something within the object, I don't think it'll become reactive. This way we sort of guarantee and control exactly when our UI will change by reassigning this variable. For those that don't know, doing something like this, contact role, DTOs, and then changing like an index here to something, this will not make your UI reactive, right? So if I change like record dot is primary is equal to false, and say this record was true, setting this to false in the code is not going to update the UI. Because you're not making this reactive, right? Right now, it's just setting this member variable to is primary, but the LWC framework doesn't know to now re-render the UI this way. You had to reassign the variable that way, and that's the way that the framework knows, okay, something changed within the JavaScript, within the controller. Now I need to re-render some stuff. Okay, so this is the way that happens. And @track does this sort of same thing. If something within these arrays change, but I just think this is the better way to do it. It'll guarantee that the framework will register that you want something to happen. So let's refresh. So now if I change this, yay. All right, true, DB action update. And if I uncheck this, I mean, this one will just set its primary to false, but the action is update still, which makes sense, I think. If I change this to decision maker and change this one to economic buyer, then we should have two updates. Decision maker update, economic buyer update, and let's change this guy to Malachi Corley. And if I do that, now we have three updates. Great. And if I handle save, if this handle save code is correct, then this map method here will get me the data in the state that I need it to actually pass to the controller. So let's try and save it. All right, so let's save. Okay. See the contact rules to save. Decision maker. I think this is what I wanted. Let's go check the database. Quinn, Aaron, and Malachi. Okay, so this looks right. Great. So I was able to refactor, get rid of that changed variable, and now use the contact role DTOs. Okay. And we haven't even gotten to the ad yet, but we know that all of this works. All right, now let's finally implement our ad. It took a while, but we're gonna get there. So for this, what do we want to do? We just want to this contact role DTOs. The push, not push, but we'll just do this. Again, push is not going to make the UI react, right? So we need to reassign this variable. So I'm just going to use a spread operator, And on top of that, let's add a new entry. Now the new entry doesn't have an ID, but we need some type of ID so that we know if something has changed within that new row, that we know how to get it. So, this line here. So let's see. So the shape of this is going to be record, and it's going to need an ID, right? Let's just set it to null for now. And then we want the DB action to be create. All right. And then I think we should just add a UUID here. So JavaScript UUID. I don't want to bring something in. Yeah, I think it's this one. So let's use this crypto.random UUID. Now that we had that, it should now add a new row within the UI. And then we should be able to populate this, and everything should actually just work. Okay, great, great, great. Let's do, who did I delete earlier? Brees Hall. So Brees Hall, I guess I should have kept this. All right, Brees Hall. Here we go. Boom. So great, great. And we had this create. These are null, which is good. Decision, and we don't want it to be primary. So let's check this again. Amazing. All right, so I think that's all set. So I think we can try to save this. So handle save. Right now, our save out contact roles method, out contact role controller, is only doing an update. But I think we could just make this an update. And so the only thing I really need to change within this mapping is I need to strip the ID since it's a fake ID. So I think we need to do this. Now, if it's create, then strip the ID. What I want is, no, it's not what I want. I want to do this. Contact role bto.record ID is equal to null. Otherwise, just return this. Okay, so basically, I'm just stripping out the ID here. Yeah, this should be it. All right. Grease. Business user. Let's make sure here. Yes. Now when I save, I get an error. Required fields are missing the opportunity. Right, that would be good to have. So I guess when I first add, I should also add the opportunity ID, which will be this record ID. Let's try again. Great. See that is saved. Amazing. I guess one thing I do want to do after this is all done is I need to reset the DB action on all of these. But I think that automatically happens because once I save, this wire should run again. So if I just change something. No, no. This is still a create, so the wire did not rerun. I could do a refresh, or I could just reset it on my own. I kind of want to just reset on my own. So when I handle the save, and then I could, in here, so this dot contact role DTOs dot map, yes, DTO, then I set DB action to null. And then I reassign it. Why? What's the matter here? Let's just change some stuff. All right, I got 3 updates here. And then if I now change something else, and the DB action should only be out there for the one that I changed again. Okay, so I think that's fine. Okay, so this is just resetting the DB action. Maybe to make it easier, I could just do this dot for the reset action. Reset DB actions. To just make it clear what's happening. All right, so I think ads are done. Can I add multiple at a time? I don't know. Let's just delete 2 of these. Okay. Let's add Aaron back. You are the true decision maker. Let's make these 2 business users. You are primary. And we can add Reese as a workhorse, the influencer. And I added 2. Let's just check. Update, create, save. Okay, everything seems to work fine. And amazing. So that all worked. Okay, so ads are done. Just like that. Easy peasy. Let's keep the console.logs there for now. So with that, ads are done. So what's left? Delete. So while I was editing, I realized that this video is getting way too long. So I decided to split this up into 2 videos. One will be for the ads, the other one will be for the deletes. The deletes will follow right after. Not that I have too many viewers or anything, not that you guys are waiting, but yeah, just want to keep this video a little bit shorter. So I will be stopping here, and I will see you in the next one.